yesterday's Cloudflare outage, a lot happened. Apparently, they're saying that it was a database that had gone out. Sorry, my hands are like mad dry. Had to wash my face and stuff. And I'm kind of like, I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. But that's not the problem. That's not the problem that we're having. We're having a problem with centralization. The issue with centralization is that it should not be. Okay? We shouldn't have a centralization problem. That took down 20% of the internet. That one outage, 20% of the internet, which means that for Web3, that could be a problem. Because there's supposed to be points of failure where you can actually, get around that bottleneck, things like that. And apparently these companies have chosen to go through those spaces, right? To say, no, we're going to go through Cloudflare, and Cloudflare doesn't have or didn't have something, that would reroute and things like that. They recovered quickly. I like the services that they give. I just don't think that you should rely on a single service to do that. If you experience a failure, you should be able to have a fail over, right? You want to diminish the number of bottlenecks that you have. You want to diminish the number of single point of failures that you have. Like, you never want a single point of failure. And clearly every single company that is dealing with Cloudflare, for portions of their business, they do have single points of failure. It doesn't matter that you have these computers taking care of this region, that region, yada, yada, yada. It's that region has a single point of failure. And depending on the kind of single point of failure that you have, it can spill over into other areas and affect other companies. And that's what we have right now. So that's something that should definitely be reviewed and looked into, because that's a massive, massive problem. Massive. Right? And it's kind of being brought to our attention that, hey, we might want to take a look at that. Just saying. And that would be a great idea. Something else that we're thinking about, or that I've seen in the news, a lot of senators are starting to speak out about Trump's crypto empire. Apparently, there are accusations that say that World Liberty Financial has done business with illegal countries, if even one of those is true, because one of them is North Korea. So they either did business, the accusations are, allegedly, to use all the words out there, that some of those deals or trades have happened with North Korea's hacking group. That could be a massive problem. The new regime's name is on there. Two of his sons' names are on there, including Barron. That could be a problem. That could wind up being a massive problem. U.S. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Jack Reed demanded an investigation into Donald Trump's crypto firm, World Liberty Financial, WLF, alleging ties to sanctioned entities including Russia, North Korea, and crypto mixer Tornado Cash. The senators claimed WLF's lax anti-money laundering practices risked national security, citing a $10,000 token sale to North Korea's Lazarus Group in January and the Trump family's $3 billion stake in the company. Now, you might sit there and you might say, well, $10,000 isn't a lot. Okay, but you're taking Tornado Cash to court just because they wrote some software. CZ went to jail for a few months because of allegations against him. His company had to pay $4.3 billion. If this works out to be true, you're looking at the same thing, in my humble opinion. That could be a massive problem. Last I checked. The OCC unveils groundbreaking rule. Banks can now hold crypto. It's not that they revealed a groundbreaking rule. It's the fact that they're saying, yeah, we're tripling, doubling, quadrupling, whatever number-ing you want to put on it. We're saying banks can hold crypto. Banks can custody crypto. And now it's just a little bit more official. And the reason why they want to do that is because there are a lot of banks out there that have projects on the way that are going to help them to do exactly that with crypto. I think banks should wake up and listen to me and go buy some of these companies that perform said services, so that way they can do more than just offer a single coin. Now, that could just be me, but I think that, banks can do better. I think banks are the incumbent to, in this current industry, in the financial industry. They're the incumbents. Problem is they're acting lethargic. Worse, they're comfortable. They're not hungry. These smaller companies, these younger companies, they're all hungry. They all want a piece. And they're all coming with better services, right? And that's a very big deal. The biggest deal right now is that banks are fighting to not allow stablecoin issuers to offer staking, which is equivalent to you putting your money in a bank and you getting an interest rate, a small thanks. Here's a piece of gum for letting us use your money to make money. Wow, thanks. But when you look at that, it's really, guys, that's the best you can do, is say, "Wah, they're coming to play in my park. They're not allowed to play in my park." That kind of reeks pathetic. It really does. Step up your game. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you don't allow stable coins to offer staking, there are other coins that offer staking. Do you think it stops there? You're whining about stable coins because of how stable coins are going to be used, the backing that they have, blah, 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 blah. Your biggest issue is going to be, if you don't allow stable coins to do this, people will just go to other coins to stake. They'll go to other coins to hold their value. They'll go to other coins to earn interest. And they won't be going to your banks. It's the same outcome. You're worried about money leaving your assets under management. But the problem is that it's going to happen. The harder you squeeze, the more that seeps out between the fingers. Facts. That's a fact. You cannot squeeze too hard. So either join the game or get out of the game. I've been saying it for years. Banks need to redefine what they bring to the table. Straight up, not even playing. Not even playing. You want to know what the biggest issue that people have with banks are? You're charging me money and giving me less. Every time you turn around, they're charging you money for something. You're charging me money to write checks. I don't write checks. You're charging me money to hold my money in the account if it's under a certain amount. Are you serious? Huh. Crypto doesn't charge me money to hold my value in my wallet. They don't do that. It's not a thing. You lose there. Start just as soon as I walk in the door of a bank, that's where you lose. I'm hoping that changes. I'm hoping that banks come back and they say, "Oh man, we better get in on this. We better do a better job than this." Countries need to start rethinking, well, what is fiat? How is fiat used? Because that stuff over there is meant for people to escape fiat because these governments are not managing it correctly. This is a problem. It's a massive one. And instead of giving thought to how to make things better, they're giving thought to how can we fight it? You're still fighting a burgeoning industry. You're still fighting an industry that, if you embraced it, could do better for your business. Yeah, believe it or not, if banks got involved in crypto the way they should, leveraging the technologies that that digital assets bring to the table and things like that, blockchain, all that good stuff, settlements, security, all of this would be better handled. All of it would be better handled. Just saying. There's something for us to think about. The IRS still has that controversial rule. The IRS faces intense backlash over its 2025 tax rules that cryptocurrency staking rewards, with critics accusing the agency of enforcing outdated, inequitable policies. Senator Todd Young and other senators, other congressional candidates are saying, listen, that's got to change. You've got to fix that. And yes, it's true. It goes back to my point that governments need to figure out how they're going to manage fiat. The separation of have and have nots, people are starting to see those lines that were once blurred, right? And they've always been there. They've always been there. Have nots. Those lines have always been there, but now they're far more clear. And this is one of those things where people are saying, well, this is not good for the regular everyday person that's trying to get ahead. You ever notice that the thing that everybody is struggling to do is get ahead? Because if you're not getting ahead, you're falling behind. There is no maintaining. This is why I keep telling people, you're going to have to invest just to survive. And some people, don't believe me. But they have friends that have 2-3 jobs. Small business on the side. Doing things to make a little bit more to either make ends meet or just enjoy a little bit more in life. Either way, people are working a lot harder to earn their value. Not their own personal value, but to earn money. Wow. Just saying, there's a lot going on. The Monetary Authority of Singapore is slamming unregulated stablecoins. It's a problem, and they are working on regulation. Things like that we should be paying attention to because global news is a global thing. What happens over there could affect over here. What happens over here could affect over there. I say it every day because I want to drill it home. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Why do we say that? For that reason. Things that happen here can affect you over there, can affect others over there. What happens over there can affect you over here and affects all of our bags. Keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind. These are simple rules that I grew up learning. Simple things. And you don't necessarily realize until you get older that, time is something you never get back. Money is never actually yours. You're just holding it for the next person. Yeah. Things that, you grow up in certain areas, you learn that real fast. Just saying. When I look at everything that's going on, I'm just looking at the whole, I have so much news, it's not even funny. You should just go read the articles. Really, just go read the articles. Something that's happening, a phenomenon, heavy word, not really a phenomenon, but something that people are not really paying attention to, even though I've been talking about it for a while. When retail investors fly away, yelling and screaming, kicking, crying, oh my God, the stock market, oh my God, the crypto space. Whales are buying. Bitcoin took a dip, whales are buying. Ethereum took a dip, whales are buying. When you hear about inflows and outflows, those aren't whales. Those are all the retailers getting in and out. Fear. They're letting fear guide them. That's why we have the GMB3. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Fear? Yeah. Remove emotion. I can have a heated conversation, a heated debate with any one of my friends about, whatever investment thing that we're talking about. Remove emotion. Debate is one thing. Remove emotion when you're talking about your value. You should be dealing in facts, and as many facts as you can gather. Get it? Do your own research. Just saying that, there are too many things out there to become obstacles for you. Don't become your own obstacle. And that's what a lot of people do. So when the market sells off, this is what happens. People lose their minds and, oh my God. Yeah, no, I'm not going, oh my God. There's a saying, you see blood in the streets, even if it's yours, you go and invest. Yeah, Right now, I'm looking at things. I'm holding back. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm holding back right now because I do not know if Nvidia is going to meet its numbers. If Nvidia blows it out the water and they meet their numbers and everything, the market will explode. It'll all happen after the closing bell. So extended hours will be interesting. But crypto, what might take a little bit of time to adjust. So I might be able to get in before we get that burst. So I'd rather wait. I would rather wait for that news. So at 4 o'clock, I'll be glued to the television waiting for Nvidia numbers, and I'll have all my wallets open, ready to move. Nope, I'm not putting in any kind of buys, any kind of sells, none of that until I hear that news. This is the one time that I just go, yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait. Even though they're doing well, even though Nvidia is doing well, the impact of this, it qualifies as a macro event. Period. It qualifies as a macro event. And what do macro events do? They can cause a downturn in the market. They can cause an uptick in the market. Eyes wide open. That's how I'm looking at it. Eyes wide the heck open. Now, we've got a ton of news that I could be talking about right now. I just don't have it right now. So what's going on right now is everything that I talk about, I have an article about. I've curated news from all over the place, and I'll bang out an article for it. The team will bang out articles for it. So what's going on right now is we're not writing the articles to our current website, which is growmybag.tv. We're writing them to the new version of the website. Like all the information is going over there. All the information going over there. Now, that's not to say that there's not a ton of data, a ton of articles sitting. Everything, all the articles that are sitting on growmybag.tv right now are just going to be enhanced with all the articles that we've been writing over the past few weeks, right? On the new website. That new website should flip over. I'm hoping this week, but I'm doggone sure it'll happen by the end of next week. You'll have a social media feed. You'll have access to over 12,000 articles, videos, a whole bunch of stuff with more things on the roadmap to come. We've got a lot of stuff going on. The social media platform is going to be bigger, better than I think everybody else, because this is the only community where we actually get along. We actually speak with each other. We're actually trying to grow what we do, learn from each other. I mean, I have people, good morning, Zabak. I know people that are, just sharing what they have and what they don't have. They're sharing thoughts, opinions, ideas, and it's up to you. Take it in, understand what's going on, do your own research, and then move deliberately. Make an absolute decision and then move deliberately, not FOMO. That's what this platform is all about, and that's what we're doing. Just saying. So I didn't want you guys to sit there and think that I'm not doing anything, that the team's not doing anything. I built a team based on me starting to do videos for my kids. And then it grew into a website. It grew into a social media platform. And now we're about to upgrade the whole platform. Yeah. We're on that kind of ride. So strap in. Now, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get to the numbers. So let's go do this. Let me get my notes out of the way. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to see. Dow Futures Implied Open is at, let me take care of this too. All right, Dow Futures Implied Open is 76 up. S&P Implied Futures 26 up. NASDAQ Implied Futures 117 up. Oil is down 0.84, which brings it under $60 a barrel. What's next? US 10-year down 0.002. Huge big deal. Target, just looking from an investment perspective, yeah, of course, they've been hurting for a while because they had huge faux pas, and they have been made an example. That's why they're looking at poor profit numbers. Don't sleep. Pay attention. I have no money in Target. Like what? Target is out. Nope. I expected Lowe's to beat. Because it's smaller than Home Depot. I actually like Lowe's way more than Home Depot. No, I don't own stock in either one, so I get to talk about it. but I like going to Lowe's. I will drive the extra distance. I have two Home Depots that are closer to me than the two Lowe's that I have. One I have to go over a bridge. The other one I have to go south a bit, like 3-4 towns away. So yeah, but I still like Lowe's. Cleaner, brighter. People seem more helpful. So kind of like that. On the earnings side, like I said, we're expecting Nvidia after the numbers. I mean, after close today. You've got TJX, you've got Lowe's who already reported good stuff, Target who reported bad stuff. I am looking at Target as not necessarily a bellwether, but definitely still something I should pay attention to with regard to retail sales. What else do we have? Williams-Sonoma, retail, Wix, web hosting. Technically, you call them a competitor of ours because we do host websites. We do more than host websites. We've got a new service that we're about to announce where we can host your website, making your website a command center. And every time we create content for your website, it goes out to social media and then makes your website into the funnel that it's supposed to be, the sales funnel it's supposed to be. Just saying, we're having a lot of fun over here. What else do we have? We've got Bullish coming out with numbers. That's huge. Remember, what was it, $30 million that ARK Invest just put into Bullish? Big. That's big. Valvoline is out, oil. What else is there? Yada, 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 yada. I do want to know about the food industry, so I am paying attention to BBB Foods. Who else is on here that I might be paying attention to? I guess that could be it. That could be it. And I'll be looking at things from a higher level, from an industry kind of level. So I'm looking at all of retail. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that, so I can get a better understanding of what's going on, because that could be where my money goes. Looking at the calendar, we are expecting numbers. I'm not sure about when the numbers are expected to come in. As far as I'm concerned, I keep this up here just in case numbers do start popping up. And it's going to be a little while before I trust them, just because of who's behind them. Fear and Greed Index has gone up from 11 up to 15. People are feeling a little bit better as they start to pay attention to some of the numbers that are coming in. We'll see what happens. Like I said, NVIDIA is going to be the macro event. I'll be glued to it with all of my wallets open, ready to move. I won't be disappointed if there's nothing to do. Like, yeah, there's no big deal here. There's no big deal there. I might get in if everything remains neutral. I'll probably get in. And some people are going to say, well, why? It's neutral. I'll get in because Bitcoin is at $91,000, and I'll show you that in a second. Currently, total value locked, $123.292 billion in total value locked. You want to know who has a problem with TVL and DeFi? Ripple. So Ripple is considering staking so that they can get deeper into DeFi. That would be huge. That would be huge. And that's another article that we banged out. Looking at these numbers, whew, man, we're nowhere near my charting over there, but you have to look at the charting over here. You could do, let me see, can I draw a line from here? No, not really. I cannot draw one. Nah, you couldn't possibly draw a line from here. You might be able to draw one from over here, but that's not really telling. So, there's that. Right now, everything is playing we're kind of like right there right now. You can see the line right here. But we're kind of playing from right here, but you've gone as low as this. We're below my pink band. My pink band goes from 93,434 to 99,655. That right there should be telling in and of itself. I asked a question a while ago, and I've asked it a couple of times. Where do you think Bitcoin is going? Do you think we could see 125 before we see 95? We've blown through that, right? So the next question is are we going to see 100 before we see 85? NVIDIA might be telling. The numbers from NVIDIA might be telling. Looking at the big board, you might be wondering where my mind is at. My mind right now is on the fact that there's a lot of stuff here that I would love to buy. Hype dropped a lot. It was at, I think, like 43 yesterday or something like that. It hit, and now it's down a bit. I'm fine with that. It was over. I wouldn't say it was overbought, but it's got traffic to talk about. So I'll rifle through them again. Every morning I try to go through a few of the ones that I actually like, and the list still seems the same. BTC, BCH, ETH, BNB, Sol if you're into that kind of thing, XRP, ADA, XLM, SUI. I can't say DOT because I'm just not feeling it. I have nothing to say against that platform, against that blockchain. I just think that they need to talk more. I think they need to talk more. It is a part of the connective tissue. There are so many projects that are built on Polkadot. That's not even funny. So yeah, they need to talk more. SUI at $1.64. Yeah, I'll be sprinkling more into that. LTC, Avalanche. No, not Aptos, not near. Just not feeling it. VeChain, I'm just holding steady. Doge, SHIB. Some people are into ZEC. I'm not. I have nothing against it. I just haven't done deep research into it, so I'm just not. Link, I absolutely love Link. I love that team. They love what they do. I love how they do it. They've got a lot of things going on, and being at 13, you're talking about an almost 1x up from where they were before everything went south. Yeah, they were at like 25, somewhere between 25 and 28. So you're looking at 1x right there in potential if we just return to where we were. Not even all-time highs, just return to where we were. That's what I keep telling people to do. Pick the date where, before everything started going south, pick that date and kind of go, oh, that's where everything started going south. What were everybody's numbers? Take that snapshot, run those numbers against where everything is now. That's my goal. I will prioritize based on that percentage gain potential from right there. That's what I'm doing. So Hype, XMR, HBAR, Polkadot. That's right, because they were chosen by, I think, JP Morgan to actually do some credit card stuff. No, it was MasterCard. My bad. I have so much news. It's not even funny. When I look at my notes go back years. I've got a whole database of my notes. Yeah, I should probably open it up. I should probably do something with it. I will. At some point, I will. But for now, we're just writing articles. But we'll be able to analyze and do more with that. And we do have plans for that. Some of those plans are being implemented right now. Some of those plans we're going to have to wait a little bit. But we do have a lot going on when it comes to all the research that me and the team do. We're literally pulling in articles from around the world because those views, those perspectives, that's a big deal. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. That helps us get the word out. I don't know if you knew, but we're a hair away from reaching 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. And it's all because you guys keep smashing the likes and telling everybody about this community. We're a different kind of breed. It's not about arguing. We're not talking about politics and sports and movies and entertainment. No, we're talking about investing. And if you're in Brooklyn, you should be thinking a lot about where you're going to get your next job because there are going to be 2 movie studios built in Brooklyn. Okay, so you've got a couple of movie studios in New York City, and I mean in Queens. You've got one in Yonkers. And now you're going to have 2 in Brooklyn. The East Coast is about to start booming when it comes to entertainment. That's going to have an effect on jobs. New York City is going to be booming in a minute. Give it a couple of years and you're going to be hearing about New York City again for more reasons than not. That's going to be a hugely big deal. Oh, East Coast. If you want to expand it to the East Coast, guess what? New Jersey's getting one too. I talk about it because it's jobs. It's jobs. Just saying. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And always, 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 thank you for your trust. We will fight for that every day. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you tonight on the Crypto Overflow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.